Hey everyone, let's talk about nutrition success and honesty today. Now, I think this is one of the reasons a lot of people don't see the results they want to on their nutrition program is because before they ever start, they should have had an honest discussion with themselves about what they wanted to achieve and what they're willing to get there. And I think this is really important because there's a lot of people who you give them a program and they'll just do the program. They'll change their lifestyle and their habits. They'll eat foods either they didn't like or that they've never tried before just because the program says to, and they'll just follow through. But other people won't. And you'll see that a lot of times when you sit down with them where you're having some email conversation. They want to change a lot of things, or they want to make substitutions, or they ask, oh, well, you said to lift weights. Is it okay if I just run? And you can kind of see that they're trying to wrestle and steer everything back to the way that they're comfortable doing it currently. And the reason for that is because they're not honest about what they're willing to do to see the results that they want. And that's really important and often overlooked many, many times. And so it's important before you start to write down, and I say write down, don't just have a conversation with yourself, but write down what your goals are. So what you want to do. I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to finish this race in a new time, or I want to have a flat stomach, or whatever it is, and write down all the things that you're willing to do to get there. Am I willing to go shopping more often, to cook more often, to eat more vegetables? Am I willing to exercise more or change the kind of exercise I'm doing? Am I willing to sleep more? Am I willing to give up more TV or to have less TV? Am I willing to go out to eat less or make different choices when I go out? All those things are a huge part of your success, and it's important to say, I am not willing to do that, or I am willing to do that, because you don't have to be willing to do everything, but you have to be willing to make some changes. And it's important for the coach to know that if they're working with you, so they know what to try to push you towards and what to say, we're going to save that for later. Because oftentimes, if somebody is not willing to give up something that's a huge sticking point for them, it's going to hold back their success. Like, you have a client who goes out to eat 3 times a week and they're not willing to give that up. Well, if you go out and you have 1,000-calorie lunch 3 times a week, even if you're eating well the rest of the time, that's a huge, huge chunk of your calories that you're going to have to try to offset or out exercise or something like that the rest of the week. And it's just not going to work for you. Maybe it will at first, a little bit, but in the long run, it just simply won't work. Now, if you say, I'm not willing to eat asparagus, fine, there's plenty of other issues. But there's some things you're going to have to just give into or be willing to bend a little bit on to see success. And that's when you work with someone and you talk to a lot of people and you see what somebody is willing or not willing to do. And a lot of times you can see whether they're going to be successful or not right off the bat. And that's tough too, because you want everyone to be successful. And sometimes you just know that somebody won't be successful, at least this time. And so if you're watching this, there's going to be people who are 75 pounds overweight who, unfortunately, and I'll say this, I don't believe that you have to be, but some people will. You say, I want to make a change, and you won't ever make the change. And that's just honest. Not that you can't, and not that you can't get to the body you want or the fitness level you want, but some people will make the change, and there's other people who won't, and that's really harsh. That was the conversation I had with myself a long time ago when I was overweight and struggling, to eat well and not to binge and to exercise. And I really was honest with myself about, if I don't change now, then I never will. And there's some people who are saying the same things to themselves, and there's others who won't ever make that change, and maybe just have accepted that, I would like to look different or feel different, but I'm just not going to do it. And a lot of people will tell you that, no, that's not you. But the reality is that it's going to be some people, and you need to be honest with yourself about, is that going to be me? The other thing to be honest about is the approach you take. So, some people say, well, everything in moderation. You should be able to go out and have ice cream once a week if you want. False. Not everybody should do that. Just like you wouldn't give everyone the same exercise program, or tell everyone that they should drink the same amount of water, or that they should sleep the same amount, or whatever it is. You don't tell everyone that they should have the same exact approach, because for some people, moderation just doesn't work. You have some people go to the gym and they crush themselves every single time. You say, you know what, that's how you're going to exercise, so we're just going to have you exercise less often so you can go a little bit harder. Or other people who are like, I like to work up a good sweat but not leave destroyed, maybe they can work out a little more frequently. And just knowing as a coach or just as yourself that not everyone is the same, and if maybe you're not willing to back off a little on your exercise, okay, here's the reality of that, and here's how we need to change things to make it work for you. Same thing with your nutrition program. There are some people who do awesome with moderation. I just had a one slice of pizza and then my salad, and I drank water, and I went for a long walk after, and that's fine. Other people, if they're gonna have pizza, they're gonna have the whole pizza. And yeah, you can talk to them about moderation and chewing slowly, but it may just be their personality type that they want the entire pizza. So you say, you know what, you're only going out for pizza every 6 months, or we have to choose a new food because pizza just doesn't work for you. And I'm sorry, but people usually don't change at the core of who they are. And that's okay. You just need to know that if you're going to try a new program, you need to be honest about your approach. Do you want numbers and macros? Do you want just guidelines? Do you want me texting you every single day and being on your butt about making sure you're on the program? What do you need? What is it going to take for you to follow through? And is it reasonable? And is it doable? And those are huge things. So don't ever listen to somebody if they say, everyone should be able to do X, because not everyone is going to be able to do X. Not everyone is going to be able to squat twice their body weight or run a 5-minute mile, or it's just not going to happen for some people, and that's okay. Mike Robertson once said that he didn't think that the effort it takes for some people to get to a six-pack is worth it because of genetics and lifestyle and all that. Doesn't mean they can't get there, but the amount of work they would have to do compared to somebody else is so much more. If you want that, be willing to accept that I have to do maybe 10 things when somebody else has to do 5 things to get there. It's going to take me twice as long, whatever. Some people will make that commitment and say, I'm going to give up going out to eat. I'm going to exercise 5 times a week. I'm going to prioritize sleep over everything else. You know, X, X, and X, they're going to do all of that. And other people say, I want the six-pack, but I see the amount of work it's going to take me. And maybe I just want to lose 30 pounds and realize that the six-pack doesn't work for my lifestyle. And I'm being honest with that. And that's how you're going to be more successful, is saying, this is what I'm willing to do. These are the results that this is going to get. And I am accepting the fact that I made those decisions. Your coach can't make you. Your family can't make you. Tony Robbins can't inspire you to do it. You have to do that yourself, and you have to be honest about the fact that you're making that decision. The final thing to be honest about is own your decisions. Nobody else made you do anything. Other people can influence you, but only if you let them. Everything that happens or everything that you choose to do is your choice. You can't control everything that happens to you, but when you make a choice, you have to own it because you made that choice. Even if it's subconscious, those are things that you did. So don't blame anyone else. Don't ever play the victim. That's the fastest way to getting nowhere. And accept your choices and own up to them. So, just realize that honesty is the very first step, because if you're not willing to do that, then you won't get to where you want to be. Have an honest conversation with yourself, and then we can get on to next steps.